Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now the weather is getting colder, or at least it is here in the UK. I know there's lots of you guys around the world that are having a bit of an Indian summer, but here in the UK it's getting pretty chilly and I've already started whipping out my coats. So one very highly requested video has been to have a look at my coats and for me to just have a general chit chat about coats, what I look for, what kind of styles I buy, what kind of colours, although I think you guys are very aware of my colour scheme by now. Now I am no basis for comparison, guys. I am about to show you 20 coats. Yes, 20 coats. No one needs 20 coats, just want to put that out there, but obviously, as I said, I'm no basis for comparison. I do work in this industry, so I work with brands, I'm gifted bits and bobs here and there, and yes, that's probably the reason why I have accumulated so many. So, without further ado, I'm going to get stuck into my first category, because as you guys know, I like to group things in categories. So my first category is wrap coats and belted coats. Right, so coat number one is the coat that you've all been asking for a full-on review on. And this one is by the CURATED. So this is the classic coat. They have a few different styles. Some have these sort of big slouchy pockets at the side, some don't have pockets, some have the more cut into the fabric pockets. I'm sorry, I don't know the correct terminology. Some have belts, of which this one does. However, it doesn't have belt loops. So I just want to touch on a couple of points before I go further with this coat. So point number one is that it has no belt loops. So you get the belt, so you can either wear the coat like this, or you can wear it with the belt, but you can't keep the belt on because there are no belt loops. So if you want to belt it, then you can, and it looks really nice. There we go, lovely jubbly. But if you're out and about and you're like, oh, on the tube, I'm really hot, you've lost your belt, it's on the floor. So they listened, excuse me, hello, they've listened to that feedback and they have now kind of met us halfway, because I realise not everyone might want the belt. So what they've done is they've included belt loops in the coat package, if you will, so that you can sew them on or get a tailor to sew them on. Honestly, you don't need a tailor though, you can just sew them on yourself if you wish to have them. So they've kind of met us halfway on that one, which I think is great. Point number two is that, as you can see on me, the sleeves are quite short. They have changed this. The sleeves are now much longer. Now I know that I'm tall-ish, I'm 5'9". I don't have particularly long arms, but it did bother me a little bit that the sleeves are quite short. Now in terms of price, this coat is $350, which equates to about-ish £270. Now, depending on where you are in the world, because these coats are shipped direct from China, and there's a whole little section on the website as to why they're shipped direct from the factory so that they can cut costs, but there's a whole section on the website where you can read more about that and where you can read about their sustainability and their ethical practices, etc, etc. But depending on where you are in the world, there is a highly likely chance that you're going to incur customs charges. So it's always worth calculating those, because obviously that's going to add on to the value of said coat. But it's a beautiful coat. I love this coat. It's everything I always wanted in a camel coat. I am just slightly gutted that I don't have the longer sleeves, but I love it, it's beautiful. So this is 70% wool and 30% cashmere. It does feel relatively soft, but obviously there's quite a large wool content in there, and as we all know, wool is nowhere near as soft as cashmere. But it's a beautiful coat. I love the way it hangs. It's quite lightweight, but it also is nice and toasty and warm. Yeah, it's a beautiful colour, beautiful fabric, really well made. It's one of these double-faced style coats. I just love it. Now on to coat number two in this category. This one, as you can see, is very similar to the CURATED style. This one is from Cezanne. It's absolutely beautiful. It's 100% wool, and again, it's one of these double-faced styles. The pockets aren't quite as deep as the CURATED ones. They're not really the sort of bury your hands deep in the pockets, but it does have belt loops, which means if you wanted to, if you're feeling a bit nippy, you can belt it throughout the day and not risk losing your belt. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous colour, cream. It's one of those coats that I kind of have to be careful when I'm wearing it, especially if I've got some sort of food or beverage, but Cezanne coats in general. Cezanne is a brand which I really appreciate the thought process and the quality and the real sort of effort and love that goes into their products. And their outerwear is probably one of my favourite brands for outerwear in terms of quality, because they use 100% wool. I have some more Cezanne coats coming up just because I just really trust them, and I think that they last for years and years. And as you can see, I go for very classic, not trend orientated styles. I go for very wearable colours that are incredibly versatile, so you can mix them and match them with whatever you have in your wardrobe. Oh, now one little tip about Cezanne outerwear in terms of sizing. This coat that I have on is a UK 12, I think that's a Euro 40, and my advice would be to size up, because a lot of Cezanne sizing, especially if you've watched my Cezanne review, which if you haven't seen that, I'll pop a little I button above, but a lot of their sizing does come up a little bit small, so it's worth, especially for winter outerwear, if you're going to wear something underneath that's a bit chunkier, knitwear, etc. It's always good to go up a size just so that you've got a little bit more room. So speaking of those other Cezanne coats, this is another one. This one actually is another 12, so as you can see, this one is nice and oversized and baggy. This is called the Jerry coat, and this one I've actually only had for about a week, 2 weeks maybe. This is a new purchase of mine, and again this is 100% wool, and reflective of that it's £290. This actually has a really long belt, like it's incredibly long, but it has pockets which are more like the curated coat, which are nice and deep, slouchy, you can really bury your hands in there. It has a button which I feel like is slightly unnecessary, and actually if I button that up you can see the coat is way too big, so I actually don't bother buttoning that up. I just kind of cross it over like that and then tie it at the waist, cinch it in nice and good, tie it there, and then there we go. And I just think that it's a really practical colour. It might be a bit grey and gloomy for some people, but you know, it's very much my vibe. Coat number 4 is from And Other Stories, and I'm not going to talk about this one too much because I spoke about this so much over the last couple of years. You guys have seen me wear this so frequently that I'm sure you are all very much aware of its pros and, well, I don't think it has any cons. So this is a wool and alpaca mix, and you can definitely feel it. It's just so soft, so beautiful. Yeah, it's just absolutely stunning. And this actually, I believe, is also available in black. And Other Stories have brought out this coat, I think 3, maybe even 4 years running now. It's £175, so it hasn't changed in price since I bought it. And yeah, I love it. It's so beautiful, so soft, and I will definitely say it is worth the money because it has lasted me for years. It's that pigeon again, I just cannot deal with it, I'm sorry. Yeah, it will last you for years and years and years. Now, sticking with And Other Stories, because it is another one of my favourite brands to buy coats from, I have this one, which was a recent addition to my coat wardrobe, and actually I'm going to show you in a minute. I have the exact same coat but in like a dark camel. I call it tan, and I love it so much because it's actually very similar with this kind of, it has no lapel, as you can see here. It has this curved design, which I really love, and I think I spoke about that kind of design in my recent mango video. And this one is made of 58% recycled wool, which is fabulous. And I kind of like to leave this undone, but I do feel as it gets a little bit colder, it's another double-faced style as well, by the way. As it gets a bit colder, I might want to do it up and belt it a little bit. And actually these ones from And Other Stories are a little bit more of a longer length, so you'll be able to see in the cutaways how long it is on me, being 5'9", just something to bear in mind. But these give me like bathrobe vibes, or dressing gown, whatever you call it. And I kind of like that. I love being nice and cozy when I'm outside in my winter gear. Now, I do have the same coat in tan, which I'm going to show you now. And here it is. So as you can see, the colour is like a really dark, nice rich camel. So it's different to my other camel coats, which I always need to stress. Even though I have multiple camel coats, they are different. Now, this coat, although I've said it's the same as the navy one, it's actually not identical. Now, I bought this one last year, probably around a similar time to now, and I think that potentially they might have done a few tweaks to the design and then they brought out the navy one this year, because this one is slightly different. This one that I'm wearing is a little bit longer than the navy one. It also has a split at the back, and then what you will be able to see here is that it has one belt loop, which I find is very bizarre, because just aesthetically I prefer it when my belt is held and will fall just in front of where I can pop my hands in my pockets, rather than just dangling at the back like a tail, where as it already is, it's starting to slide out more on one side and you could potentially lose it. And I don't want to lose the belt, because I actually do like these coats wrapped up like a dressing gown, as I was just saying, because I think that they look delicious. Now, my final coat for this wrap / belted category is this grey one from Mango. Now, I featured this in my recent Mango video, so again, I'm not going to go too much into detail because lots of you have probably already seen that. But again, it's this belted, very sort of slouchy style. This one has the slanted pockets at the side. It's really beautiful made, another double-faced, nice deep pockets, not too big of a lapel, which I quite like. It belts really nicely, it's nice and lightweight, and actually lots of you have been asking me on Instagram if I would liken this to some of the curated styles, because this is £119, so essentially it's less than half the price of the curated coats. Now, the curated coat obviously is 70% wool and 30% cashmere, and this one is 54% wool and the rest is man-made fibres. So that's just the difference between the natural fibres and the man-made fibres. Yes, I would liken it to the curated style. Obviously, you have much better, much higher quality fibres, but it's reflected in the price for the curated coat. So if you were on a budget, yeah, by all means, you know, this is a great coat. I still think it's really good quality, very chic, very kind of wearable, and it would slot in really easily with any wardrobe, to be honest with you. Then it's definitely worth a look at if you are on a slightly lower budget. Right, my next category is oversized cocoon coats. And you'll see what I mean when I put this on. Lots of you will recognise this because I've had this for, I think, 2 years. I don't think it's 3, I think it's 2 years. This I bought from the H&M Premium collection. That's just something I want to stress. H&M do incredible outerwear, but I would always look in the premium selection or the premium collection area, which is also known as trend. This coat is 100% Italian wool. It's beautiful, and I know I've been having like Insta discussions with some of you, and this coat actually went down in the sale. I bought mine at full price, which was £99, which actually I think is incredible value for 100% wool, but lots of you were kicking yourselves because it got down to 50% off in the sale. Now, I'm not sure what kind of sizes there were, but I remember walking around Blue Water and seeing this for 50% off, and I was like, what? Mortified. This one is not single face. This one actually is lined, and here's the little label that says it's Italian fabric. And actually, another thing to note about H&M coats, because I have another one coming up that's a similar kind of style, they oversize them massively, like in a very big way. So I'm actually wearing a size 8. I am a UK size 10, and as you can see, it's quite oversized and slouchy on me. So if I'd have gone for a 10, it would have completely drowned me. I do love the oversized look, but I kind of want to rein it in to an extent. So my rule of thumb is, with the H&M Premium outerwear, if it's this kind of oversized cocoon style coat, size down, like straight away. Don't even order 2 sizes, just size down. So this is the coat that I was just referring to. I featured this on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago maybe, and you guys went crazy for it because it's £79.99, which is really good value. It's got quite a high wool content in here. It's 64% wool, but the wool content is fully recycled. So this is not only from the premium collection, but it also crosses over and joins in the H&M Conscious collection as well. But I'm wearing a size small and it is absolutely ginormous, which I love. But obviously if you are petite, you might kind of want to err on the side of caution a little bit, because it can have that very much drowning effect. But actually the reason that I bought this one was because of the colour. It's the most beautiful taupe colour, and I just love these kind of colours, these neutrals, which just go well with all of the, I know some people think they're boring, but all of the classic colours, black, navy, camel, other neutrals. It just fits in so well with my wardrobe. So it's the kind of coat where, regardless of what I've got on underneath, I can immediately just throw that on. And that for me, being able to get dressed super quickly and super easily in a morning without stressing too much on kind of what you look like, and still in the end looking good, is very important for me. Right, this coat you will all definitely recognise, because this is it's not my only black coat, but it's probably the one that it's definitely the one that I wear the most. This one was from BIMBA and LOLA, or BIMBA y LOLA. It's such an incredible quality coat. Has no buttons on it. It's just this very sort of open, slouchy, oversized kind of style. So borderline it would fit in with the first category as well, but it just doesn't have a belt. And I do feel it's a little more cocoon-like, but it has really deep slanted pockets at the side. No bells and whistles whatsoever. Just a very nice, high quality black slouchy coat. And I think if you don't have one of those in your wardrobe, it's definitely something to look into, if you feel you would wear it, of course, because I don't want to encourage you guys to go and hunt out something that you wouldn't wear, but I just think black is chic, it's wearable, it's versatile, it doesn't show up dirt, which is always a bonus. And yeah, I always just feel really good in this coat. I think it helps because I'm blonde, because it makes my hair stand out. But I cannot express how much I love this coat, and this is one coat that I don't think I will ever get rid of or trade in for like an upgraded version. Moving on to my next coat. This is from a British brand called JIGSAW. So those of you here in the UK might be familiar with JIGSAW. Now I'm wearing this in a size 10. So this, to be honest with you, is very much an autumn coat. It's not the kind of coat that I'll probably wear past December. Like January and February are our coldest months here in the UK, so I don't think this would be a coat that I would continue to wear, because it doesn't have a lot of room in it. I probably should have sized up in this one so it's a little bit more slouchy, but actually I kind of like the slightly more fitted style, and just with a basic cashmere, which is what I've got on underneath, what I always wear, I just think it's perfect. It's a really nice work coat. It's very tailored, a little bit more fitted. Oh wait, oh no. There we are, folks. This is YouTube for you. We've moved on to my next category, which is tailored coats. Yeah, so it is tailored. It's single-breasted with the classic 2 buttons. It has quite a deep sort of low V-neck if you were to do it up, which is why I feel like it wouldn't be completely winter appropriate. Unless you're going to wear a big chunky scarf, you can't fit a chunky knit underneath, unless, as I said, you sized up. So this one is 100% wool, and this was £299. So bought new, obviously a little bit more of a premium price tag, but you could definitely pick up these kind of coats on eBay, looking at them secondhand, eBay Depop even, and you can get yourself a bargain. Right, this is the Johnson coat from Cezanne. This one, in comparison to my slouchier ones that I featured in the first category, obviously is a more tailored style. It's double-breasted. It's got these horizontal pockets on the front here. Again, really beautiful fabric. It's 70% wool, and this is another coat that I actually sized up to a 12 in. But yeah, again, another really classic. This one I feel perhaps is a bit more of like a smarter coat, so I'll often wear this if I'm going to meet a brand and I feel like I want to be a bit more business and professional looking, and I'll wear this perhaps over all black, or I might mix in a bit of navy. Yeah, it's a really nice, just sort of lighter grey option for the winter season. Right, this is the Saint Laurent coat that I bought secondhand off Vestiaire. I featured this in my secondhand haul, brand new. This coat is, I think, like £1,500. Now, I got it for £376.24 or something along those lines. So I think I bagged myself quite a bargain. I would definitely recommend having a look on Vestiaire and even eBay for this kind of thing. I mean, Saint Laurent obviously is a very, very premium brand, and if you're buying their stuff new, it's hella expensive. It really is. I would never pay £1,500 for a coat, especially not one that's sort of shorter, that is essentially a jacket. I just wouldn't pay it. This I know is 100% a forever piece, but I'm definitely glad that I bought it secondhand. Right, this is another one from Jigsaw. So this is like a dark grey herringbone, single-breasted, has the flaps over the pockets, which is always a nice little touch. I think it's quite classic. This is 80% wool. So this feels quite thick actually, and this has a very kind of, I want to use the word fluffy, but I don't mean literally fluffy, but it has sort of a fluffed texture to it, which I really like. Again, that's probably because of the herringbone weave, the way that the fabric's woven, it gives a little bit more sort of tuftiness to it. Beautiful, beautiful coats, and actually I find that this one keeps me really, really warm. It's fully lined, like the dark green one, and although this one isn't 100% wool like the dark green one, I actually think that this one is warmer. So this one I would be more inclined, even though it's the same kind of low V style, I would be more inclined to just stick on a really chunky cashmere scarf or a wool scarf and wear this in the winter months. I would probably just need some gloves to keep me toasty, just because it is a little bit more of a thicker fabric. Right, finally we are on to the Cezanne coat, which I have in a size 10, so you will be able to see how it fits differently because it's tailored, it's a little bit smarter, and it makes me feel a little bit more put together. Again, kind of like if I'm doing a meeting with a brand, or if I have to look a bit more professional and business-like, then this for me is a really good coat option. And yeah, the fit, I would not be able to fit a chunky jumper underneath here. So this is very much like the first Jigsaw coat that I had. It would just be a light cashmere underneath, like what I'm wearing now. I wouldn't be able to move my arms if I fit a chunky knit underneath there. I would just feel like a little bit of a sausage. So this, I think, approximately was about £270 when I bought it, and it's 75% wool content, and once more, fully lined. Okay, this is my last coat in the tailored category, and again, this is another one that you would have seen in my mango video. And this is just all about the colour. Its wool content is 33%, so it's not a great deal in there, but it is quite affordable. It's $79.99, and I think that's one thing that Mango are really good at. They're good at doing affordable coats, but adding in at least some natural fibres. So I find their minimum is normally around 30% wool content for the slightly higher priced coats, but it's worth paying a little bit extra because you get added warmth with the wool and the quality is just better. Oh, it's a beautiful coat. I kind of can't stop looking at it. I'm just staring in the mirror like, this was a good buy, yes. Right, moving on to my next category, which is lightweight coats. So this is my vintage Burberry trench, which I know I've spoken about quite frequently. It's been in my wardrobe staples video. It's been in my autumn wardrobe must-haves. I've forgotten the names of my own videos, but I could not recommend enough getting just a trench coat in your life, especially if you're British. I just feel like it's part of our heritage, and you're not British if you don't have a trench coat, you know? We all need to have a trench coat. This is the Kensington coat. It's a size 12 because it's a vintage size, so that's another tip that I would say, is to size up if you're looking at vintage trenches, just because vintage sizes were much smaller back in the day, so you might find that a vintage 12 is more like a current 10. But yeah, I would get out there, get hunting on eBay, Depop, vestiaire, and I guarantee you will definitely be able to find yourself a bargain. And lots of you guys have already found these coats and you've been sharing them on my hashtag, which is hashtag secondhand but grand. We'll pop it down at the bottom of the screen so that you guys can get involved and get sharing your secondhand purchases. But at £75, that is essentially the same price as what you would buy one for in Marks and Spencer's. But it's Burbs. Talking of Marks and Sparks, I have my second lightweight coat, which as you can see is a darker shade. This one is more of like a khaki camel, and this style of coat is known as a car coat. Someone asked me on Instagram the other day, what do I think of Marks and Spencer's outerwear? I think it's great, but my tip would be I always only really look in the autograph range, because for me it's just better quality. It is more of a premium price tag, I will admit, but it is better quality in my opinion. I just find that they use better fabrics, it's just nicely made, the cuts are nicer. Yeah, so that would be my tip. And obviously if you guys are having a look on eBay and things for secondhand, always make sure you refine your search and add into your search autograph, because then you'll come up with the good shizzle. But this coat was £119, and this genuine vintage Burberry 75. So if you've got a bit more patience to kind of hunt and trawl the internet and potentially even, you know, secondhand and vintage stores, then it is definitely worth it. Now on to my final category. This is what I call the noisy coat. This category is casual and practical coats. So we're talking coats for winter, like proper winter coats. Dog walking coats for any of you dog walkers or doggy owners out there. These are the kind of coats that I wear when we go out for a nice walk on a Sunday, or when we walk the dogs, if we go for a hike somewhere, that kind of thing. This is what this is for. Although actually I wore this yesterday because it was absolutely peeing it down outside, and this is one of the very few coats that I have that actually has a hood. Now I featured this coat in a vlog a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. This is from Arket and it's part of their new range of, I think it's called Redown. And in this range, as I mentioned in that vlog a couple of weeks ago, there's a lot of different styles, a few different colours as well. So if you prefer something with a bit more colour as opposed to black, they do have some colours in there as well. I went for this style, and actually this is just a really good practical coat for me. And finally, this is my last coat. It is a parka. This is from ASOS. And ASOS, as we all know, is super fast fashion. I'm not really sure what this is made out of, to be honest with you. I didn't even look. It's probably all man-made fibres. Let's have a look. Oh, the shell is actually 74% cotton, so actually that's not too bad. £65. This one was from the Tall range. Nice and cosy, nice and warm. It's got a hood, it's got a faux fur, obviously. Yeah, it's just a nice kind of classic style, but it's not the kind of coat that I wear every single day, or not a coat that I would particularly wear sort of all the time on my day-to-day business. It's just more of a practical coat. Right, now, aside from all the coats that I've shown you today, I haven't featured them in today's video, but I do also have all of the secondhand leather and suede coats that I purchased as well not long ago. Those are all featured in my secondhand haul, my first secondhand haul. So I'll leave a link to that video down in the description box below, because I go into more detail about those and buying secondhand, etc. So you can head over there if you want to check those out. And I would like to thank you for watching as always, and I will actually catch you guys on Tuesday next week, because we actually have 3 videos next week. I've done a bonus video for you guys, which is a review on that The Curated bag, which you've all been requesting. So we're going to move our vlog to Tuesday, so I will see you all then.